a small, colorful candy that has become a household name and a global favorite. M&Ms, we've all grabbed a handful, tossed them in our mouths, and enjoyed their crunchy shell and soft, chocolatey core. But how exactly do these little candy-coated treasures come to life? From the raw materials to the iconic candy shell, M&Ms are made through a process that combines advanced technology with a touch of candy magic. The story starts with the basic ingredients: sugar, chocolate, and a few secrets known only to the M&M experts. But the journey from simple ingredients to the perfect candy isn't as straightforward as you might think. M&Ms undergo a series of meticulous steps, including precise mixing, careful coating, and even the application of the candy shell, which gives M&Ms their signature smooth finish. Each step is designed not only to ensure the perfect texture and taste, but also to keep that colorful, shiny outer layer intact without cracking or losing its vibrant hue. In this video, we'll walk you through every step of how M&Ms are made, from the very first blend of ingredients to the final packaging that lands them in stores. But it's not just about the candy itself. It's about the massive machines, the fine-tuned processes, and the years of innovation that have made M&Ms one of the most beloved candies in the world. From the factory floor to the snack aisle, the journey of M&Ms is a fascinating tale of candy craftsmanship. Let's break it down, because the making of M&Ms is a lot more complex than it looks, and there's more to these little treats than meets the eye. The magic of M&Ms, a candy crafting tradition. M&Ms are much more than just candy. They've become an iconic part of our snacking culture, a treat everyone can recognize. But have you ever stopped to wonder how these colorful, crunchy candies came to be? The magic behind M&Ms starts with a rich history and a fascinating candy-making tradition that has stood the test of time. It all began in 1941, when Forrest Mars, the son of the Mars Company founder, teamed up with Bruce Murray, the son of Hershey's president. They combined their names, Mars and Murray, and created the M&Ms we know today. This partnership led to the creation of a candy that could resist melting in warm weather, a clever invention for soldiers in World War II. At that time, chocolate was usually a messy snack, but M&Ms solved this problem with their hard candy shell, which protected the chocolate inside. Over the years, M&Ms became a favorite treat across the world. Their bright, fun colors and playful marketing helped turn them into a cultural staple. But what makes M&Ms so special isn't just their look or history. It's the careful, unique process of crafting them. Each M&M, by the color, undergoes a precise series of steps to ensure it has that perfect crunch and smooth center. This tradition of quality and attention to detail has remained strong, even as the candy evolved and expanded its flavors. So, the next time you grab a handful of M&Ms, remember, there's more than just chocolate and sugar inside these tiny candies. Behind every M&M is a legacy of innovation, creativity, and candy-making craftsmanship. It's a true candy tradition that continues to bring joy to millions. The perfect blend. Ingredients that make M&Ms special. The secret to an M&M's irresistible taste begins with its ingredients. While the candy may seem simple at first glance, it's the precise mix of sugar, chocolate, and other key ingredients that creates the flavor and texture we all love. Each component plays a vital role in giving M&Ms their signature crunch and smooth, creamy center. At the heart of every M&M is chocolate, and not just any chocolate. M&Ms use high-quality cocoa beans, which are carefully selected for their rich flavor. The process of turning these beans into chocolate involves roasting, grinding, and refining to create a smooth and velvety texture. The cocoa is then mixed with other ingredients like milk and sugar to give M&Ms their creamy, balanced taste. But the chocolate alone isn't enough to create that satisfying crunch when you bite into an M&M. Next comes the sugar. A generous amount of sugar is blended with the chocolate to create that familiar sweetness we associate with M&Ms. The sugar also helps form the perfect structure for the candy shell, which will be added later. Without it, the candy wouldn't have that crisp, satisfying outer layer. Another key ingredient is the emulsifier, which helps blend all the ingredients together, ensuring a smooth consistency without any clumps or separation. Even the candy shell, which gives M&Ms their colorful appearance, starts with basic ingredients like sugar and corn syrup. The shells are carefully mixed and applied in layers until they're thick and smooth, providing the signature crunch we all love. So when you enjoy M&Ms, Know that every bite is a carefully crafted blend of ingredients designed to deliver the perfect candy experience. M&M's chocolate. A journey from cocoa to candy. The journey from cocoa beans to the smooth, melt-in-your-mouth chocolate inside every M&M is a fascinating process. It all starts with cocoa, the key ingredient that gives M&Ms their rich, chocolatey flavor. Cocoa beans, harvested from the cacao tree, are at the heart of every chocolate-making process, and M&Ms use only the best. But how we get from raw beans to that creamy chocolate core? First, the cocoa beans are roasted. This step brings out the deep, rich flavors that we associate with chocolate. The beans are roasted at just the right temperature to ensure that they develop the perfect taste. Once roasted, the beans are cracked open to remove their shells, leaving the nibs, the part of the cocoa bean that contains all the flavor. These nibs are then ground into a paste, which is known as cocoa liquor, although it doesn't actually contain any alcohol. This paste is the base of all chocolate products. The next step is to refine the cocoa liquor. It's mixed with sugar and other ingredients to create a smooth, rich mixture. At this stage, the chocolate is still very thick, but it will soon be turned into something much smoother. The mixture is then conched, an important process where the chocolate is continually stirred and aerated to break down any rough particles. This creates the smooth, silky texture that M&Ms are known for. Finally, the chocolate is tempered. Tempering is a process of cooling and reheating the chocolate to ensure that it solidifies with a glossy, smooth finish and doesn't melt too easily in your hand. This perfect chocolate is then poured into molds, forming the delicious core of every M&M. From cocoa bean to candy, the journey is long, but it's worth it for that perfect M&M chocolate experience. Precision mixing. Crafting the perfect chocolate core. Once the cocoa has been roasted, ground, and transformed into a silky chocolate liquor, it's time to move on to the next critical step, mixing. This is where the magic of M&Ms truly begins. The chocolate core of each M&M is carefully crafted through a precise blending process that ensures the perfect balance of smoothness, texture, and flavor. The first step in creating the M&M's chocolate center is combining the cocoa liquor with other ingredients, like milk powder, sugar, and emulsifiers. Milk powder gives the chocolate a creamy, smooth texture, while sugar sweetens it just the right amount. The emulsifiers, such as soy lecithin, help bind all the ingredients together, ensuring a smooth consistency without any lumps or separation. This careful mixture results in a rich, velvety chocolate that forms the perfect base for the candy. The ingredients are blended in large machines, where they are mixed thoroughly to eliminate any air bubbles or inconsistencies. This is crucial, as air bubbles can make the chocolate uneven and spoil the smooth texture. The goal is to achieve a perfectly uniform mixture where the chocolate feels like silk as it melts in your mouth. Once the chocolate reaches its desired consistency, it's time for one final step in the mixing process, refining. During this phase, the chocolate is passed through rollers that help smooth it out even more. These rollers break down any remaining roughness, ensuring that the chocolate core is as smooth as possible. After this refining process, the chocolate is ready to be formed into the iconic center of every M&M. This careful, precise mixing process is what gives M&Ms their signature texture, smooth, creamy, and just the right amount of sweetness. Without this attention to detail, the chocolate wouldn't be as perfect as we know it today. The art of coating, how the candy shell is made. The candy shell of an M&M isn't just for show. It plays a crucial role in giving the candy its signature crunch and vibrant appearance. After the chocolate core is created, it's time for the most fascinating and delicate step, coating. This process is known as panning, and it's where M&Ms begin to take on their iconic look and texture. The panning process begins with the chocolate centers being placed in large rotating drums. These drums gently tumble the chocolate pieces, ensuring that each one gets coated evenly with a thin layer of sugar syrup. This syrup is made by mixing sugar and water to create a sticky, sugary liquid that will help form the candy shell. As the chocolate centers tumble in the drum, the syrup is sprayed on them, sticking to the chocolate and beginning to form the first layer of the shell. This process is repeated multiple times, with each layer of syrup being added slowly and carefully. The sugar syrup gradually hardens, building up layer by layer until the candy has a thick and smooth shell. As the layers of syrup build up, the candy centers start to look more like the familiar M&M shape, with a perfect smooth and colorful coating. But creating the candy shell is not just about adding layers of sugar syrup. It's about controlling the temperature, humidity, and the speed of the drum to ensure that the syrup coats evenly without cracking. The candy shell must be smooth, shiny, and resistant to breaking, while still allowing the chocolate inside to remain soft and delicious. After the final layer of sugar syrup is added, the M&Ms are polished in the drum to give them that glossy, shiny finish that we all recognize. The end result? A perfectly coated M&M with a crunchy outer shell and a smooth melt-in-your-mouth chocolate center. The panning process may seem simple, but it's a work of candy art that ensures every M&M is just right. The science of color. Creating the famous M&M shells. M&Ms aren't just known for their taste. They are also famous for their bright, eye-catching colors. The vibrant hues of red, yellow, green, blue, orange, and brown are what make M&Ms stand out and bring joy to candy lovers everywhere. But have you ever wondered how those colors are created and why they remain so vibrant? The process is more complex than it might seem and involves both science and creativity. First, it all starts with the candy shell itself, which is made of sugar and corn syrup. These basic ingredients provide the perfect base for the color to be added. Once the candy shell has been applied in layers during the panning process, it's time to add the color. The key to getting those rich, consistent colors is the food dye used in the shells. M&Ms use special food-grade dyes, which are designed to stay vibrant even after the candy is packaged and shipped around the world. The dye is carefully mixed into the sugar syrup during the coating process. The candy centers are tumbled in rotating drums, while the syrup and dye are sprayed evenly onto them. This is where the magic happens. The dyes adhere to the syrup-coated shell, and the process is repeated layer by layer until the candy reaches its full color. Each M&M gets a uniform, glossy coat that is perfectly smooth and vibrant. The real challenge comes from ensuring that the colors remain stable and don't fade over time. The M&M's candy shell has to be resistant to both heat and humidity, which means the colors must stay intact in all kinds of conditions. Special care is taken to avoid any cracking or fading of the dye, so that every M&M looks just as bright and beautiful from the first bite to the last. It's amazing how much science and precision go into those bright colors. M&Ms are not just a candy. They're a carefully crafted masterpiece of color and taste, designed to stay looking perfect no matter when or where you enjoy them. The tempering process. Why M&Ms stay shiny? Have you ever noticed how M&Ms always have that glossy, shiny appearance? It's one of their defining features, and it's not just for looks. That smooth, shiny finish is actually a result of a very important process called tempering. This step ensures that the chocolate inside the M&M stays perfectly smooth, while also helping the candy shell maintain its sleek, polished appearance. Tempering is a technique that involves heating and cooling the chocolate in specific ways. It's all about controlling the temperature of the chocolate to make sure that the cocoa butter in the chocolate crystallizes in the right pattern. When chocolate is tempered correctly, it forms smooth, stable crystals that give it a glossy finish and help it stay solid at room temperature without melting too easily in your hands. This is especially important for M&Ms, as no one wants a candy that melts all over their fingers. The process begins by melting the chocolate to a precise temperature, usually around 110 degrees Fahrenheit to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The chocolate is then cooled down gradually to a lower temperature, typically around 80 degrees Fahrenheit to 84 degrees Fahrenheit, and then reheated slightly to a final temperature of around 88 degrees Fahrenheit to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. This carefully controlled temperature change is what allows the cocoa butter to solidify into the perfect structure. Once the chocolate is tempered, it can be used to coat the M&M center. The result is a beautiful, glossy chocolate shell that doesn't just look good. It also has the perfect texture. The chocolate will snap and break cleanly when you bite into it, providing that satisfying crunch, but it won't melt away too quickly. Without tempering, M&Ms would lose their signature shine, and the chocolate inside wouldn't have that smooth, premium feel. The tempering process is essential to creating the perfect M&M, both in looks and in taste. So, next time you grab a handful, remember, there's some serious science and care behind that shiny, glossy finish. The coating revolution. How M&Ms avoid cracking. The candy shell of an M&M might look simple, but creating it without cracking is a tricky task. Achieving that perfect, smooth, and durable outer layer requires a lot of precision and careful planning. From the very first layer of sugar syrup to the final touches of color, the coating process involves several steps to ensure that the shell remains intact and crack-free. But how do they do it? The key to preventing cracks in the candy shell lies in the delicate balance between the sugar syrup and the drying process. As each layer of syrup is applied, the M&Ms are tumbled gently in large rotating drums. This tumbling helps the syrup coat the candy centers evenly. The tumbling action is important because it prevents the candy from sticking to the walls of the drum, ensuring that the syrup forms an even layer on every single M&M. Once the syrup is applied, the candy centers are carefully dried to allow each layer to harden. This drying process is done at just the right temperature and humidity to ensure the sugar shell dries evenly without forming any cracks. If the conditions aren't perfect, the sugar coating might dry too quickly or unevenly, causing the shell to become brittle and crack. That's why temperature control is crucial. Keeping it too hot or too cold can result in imperfections. After the final layers of sugar syrup are added, M&Ms undergo a polishing phase. This is where the shells are gently buffed to give them that beautiful glossy finish, but it also helps to smooth out any minor imperfections. This final step helps to strengthen the coating, making sure it stays intact even when the M&Ms are handled, packed, and shipped to stores. Thanks to this incredibly careful process, M&Ms are able to have a crunchy, smooth outer shell that doesn't crack, no matter how much you shake the bag or roll them around in your hand. All these details make M&Ms not only delicious but also incredibly durable. It's the perfect balance of science and craftsmanship. M&M quality control, ensuring perfection in every bite. M&Ms might seem like simple little candies, but getting them just right takes a lot of care, attention, and precision. From the moment the ingredients are mixed to when they land in your snack bowl, each M&M is closely monitored to ensure it meets the highest standards. This is where quality control comes in, making sure every candy is perfect before it gets to you. One of the first steps in quality control happens early in the process, when the chocolate mixture is being made. The team ensures that the chocolate is smooth and uniform, with no inconsistencies in texture. It's crucial that the chocolate has the right taste and feel, so regular taste tests and texture checks are done to confirm that the flavor is perfect. Once the chocolate is formed into its center and coated with the candy shell, the real fun begins. Each M&M undergoes a series of checks to guarantee that it looks and feels just right. Machines are used to inspect the size and shape of every M&M. This ensures that all the candies are uniform in size and shape, with no misshapen or overly large ones sneaking through. If an M&M is too big or too small, it's removed from the production line. But the visual checks don't stop there. The color of the candy shell is carefully examined to make sure the hues are even and vibrant. Any M&M that doesn't meet the color standards is discarded or sent back for recoating. This is critical, especially since the bright colors are one of the features that make M&Ms so recognizable. After the final polishing, each M&M is tested for the strength and durability of the candy shell. The goal is to make sure the shell won't crack during packaging or transport, keeping the candy intact until it reaches the consumer. Packaging and distribution. From factory to your hands, once the M&Ms have been carefully crafted, coated, polished, and checked for quality, it's time for the final stage: packaging and distribution. The process of getting those colorful, crunchy treats from the factory to your hands is a well-oiled machine that ensures the candies stay fresh and intact no matter where they end up. But how does it all work? The packaging process starts with automated machines that sort the M&Ms into bags. These machines are fast and efficient, capable of filling thousands of bags per minute. The M&Ms are carefully weighed to ensure each bag contains the right amount of candy. This is crucial because consistency in weight and packaging is an important part of customer satisfaction. Every M&M should be as satisfying as the last, whether you're grabbing a mini bag or a family-sized pack. After the M&Ms are packaged, they are sealed and prepared for shipment. The sealed bags are then placed into larger boxes, which are carefully organized and labeled for distribution. This stage is where the candies get ready to travel, whether they're heading to a local supermarket, a convenience store, or an online retailer. To ensure freshness, M&Ms are often shipped in temperature-controlled containers to avoid exposure to extreme heat, which could affect the candy's texture and appearance. Once the M&Ms reach their destination, they are unpacked and placed on store shelves, ready to be enjoyed by candy lovers around the world. Whether you're grabbing a bag at the grocery store or finding them in a vending machine, M&Ms are always there to bring that familiar, delicious crunch. The entire journey, from the production line to your hands, ensures that the M&Ms you eat are as perfect as possible. That's a wrap on today's deep dive into how M&Ms are made. From the careful crafting of that smooth, rich chocolate core to the perfect candy shell and vibrant colors, we've seen how much care goes into making every single piece. It's no wonder M&Ms are loved by millions around the world. If you enjoyed this sweet journey, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends. Got any thoughts or fun facts about M&Ms you'd like to add? Drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want more behind-the-scenes looks at your favorite snacks and how they're made, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time with more amazing insights in the world of food. Stay curious and keep snacking.